Hello everyone, this is Ricky from Data Mastery and welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about Amazon SageMaker Canvas, which is a no-code machine learning tool provided by AWS. So if you have no or little machine learning experience or programming background for machine learning workflows, then SageMaker Canvas is the best tool for you to get started with learning machine learning as well as to advance your machine learning skills. So SageMaker Canvas allows you to build, train, and deploy machine learning models, also doing some data profiling using Data Wrangler. And nowadays, it also has a feature to enable Gen AI right within Canvas so that you can start exploring the data using natural language. So SageMaker Canvas allows you, as I said earlier, no code model building and deployment. And also it allows you to connect with various data sources like S3 or Redshift, or even you can use your local file and upload that file to Canvas. You also get the ability to automatically select the model based on the problem that you're trying to solve. And you can also collaborate with, let's say, the data scientist or other data engineers working on machine learning workflows or data analysis using SageMaker Studio. So what you see on your screen is AWS official documentation, which is pretty good. So it tells you, okay, what the SageMaker Canvas is and some of the benefits like full ML lifecycle. So like I said earlier, you can train the model, build the models and deploy right using Canvas. And no code, you don't need to write any code. Everything is fully managed. And you have MLOps right in the Canvas. And you can do more collaboration and Gen AI powered assistance. Now let's log into AWS account and see the Canvas in action. So this is my AWS account, and the service that you're looking for is Amazon SageMaker AI. AWS is making a lot of changes with respect to SageMaker, so you probably see some difference in the names. As at the time of recording of this video, Amazon SageMaker Studio is called Amazon SageMaker AI. There is another SageMaker Studio which is now called Unified Studio, and that is built on AWS Data Zone. What we are looking for in this video is Amazon SageMaker AI. So if you click on this, this is similar to you can say the previous version of SageMaker Studio. This is called SageMaker AI, but the interface is pretty much similar. And if you look at the left side, you have application and IDEs. So IDEs is what AWS is really investing in. Integrated development environments, which is basically a fully managed, fully featured environment right in your web browser. So first thing that we need to do is to create a SageMaker Studio domain. If you don't already have one, you can go to domains. And here you can click on create a new domain. When you click on create a new domain, you'll have two options again. One is the quick setup for single user, which is what is sufficient for this demo. But the other one is for organizations, which provides more security, SSO integration, and that is recommended if you're working in the enterprise, and that's where you're trying to set up. So I already have a SageMaker Studio domain, the quick setup one, which I created earlier. And I also have the other one, which is Unified Studio. We are not going to use that. So once you have this domain set up, you can click on this to understand more about some of the settings. If you're not using the custom VPC, you can use the default VPC, and that will be used to deploy your quick setup solution. In the enterprises, obviously, if you're deploying this in the production or even the dev environment, it's better to use the custom VPC and deploy this in the private subnets. There is a auto mount of EFS storage. EFS is Elastic File System, which is used if you want to share this data with some other instances or services. You also get persistent EBS storage. The default size is 5 GB, which can be expanded up to 100 GB, which is the maximum size. And other than that, the default user will be created for you, the one user profile as part of this quick setup. The interesting thing is app configuration, which allows you to enable or disable various applications or configurations for your studio domain. For example, if you want to enable Docker on this domain, you can enable this. And then there are some features here. If you want to allow access to, let's say, RStudio, which is by default active, you can, customize this as well. And if you click on customize, it will allow you to either enable or disable some of the applications. For example, if I want to disable RStudio, I can just simply disable this. And similarly, for the machine learning tools, you can enable services like Data Wrangler, Feature Store, EMR Cluster. If for certain reason you don't want to provide access to specific services or configurations as part of your organization policy, you can disable those applications. So you can see a lot of configuration settings which you can disable, enable, or configure for your studio domain. You can also add the custom images. For example, if you're using your custom libraries, the Python libraries which you have built in-house, and you also want to allow access only to specific public libraries with specific version, then you can build your own Docker image and put that image in ECR and then attach that image to your studio domain. And when you open a Jupyter notebook, for example, as part of this studio domain, then you will have the option to select your custom image. So this is pretty good for your organization setup, so that it allows that all of your data engineers, ML engineers, data scientists, they all are using the same custom Docker image, which is, you can say, allowed within your organization. Now for this particular video, we're just going to stay focused on Canvas. So I'm just going to click on Canvas from here. And here you get the list of your domains that you already have. So I'm going to select the quick setup domain, and there is a one user profile. Now click on Open Canvas, and it will open another integrated environment. That's what you can use for your ML workflows. So here it is. It provides support for Amazon Q right in this environment. It provides Data Wrangler, which is basically to explore the data, apply some transformations, and then export it. Also, some data sets. You can connect the data sets with your sources like S3 or Redshift or any external data sources that you might have. Then you create the machine learning models right here in this environment. And here it will allow you to set up the deployments for your machine learning models. This is called MLOps, and some Gen AI blueprints as well, like Access Foundation models powered by Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker Jumpstart. So this allows you to get started with ML stuff pretty quickly, and even including the Gen AI workflows. So let's go ahead and look at the Data Wrangler, because this is where you can connect with your data sets and import the data and apply some transformation. Now, first thing that you need to do is to import the data. The data could be your image or the CSV or Parquet files in the tabular format. Now, when you click on this, you can select the data source, and Canvas supports a lot of data sources like S3, which is obviously the default choice. Then you have Snowflake as well. You have Athena, Redshift, Databricks, MySQL, PostgreSQL. So these could be your external MySQLs, not necessarily RDS, but if you have, let's say, SQL Server running in your on-prem environment, you can still connect with that. And the RDS option is the separate option here, a document DB. And the other data sources that you can connect to, like the Datadog, like your Facebook, your GitLab, Google Ads. So there are tons of data sources to connect to. And obviously, you can upload your local files as well, or you can use the pre-populated or the sample data sets. As part of the learning, you can just use these sample data sets. So let's use this housing data, which has 10 columns, 1,000 rows, 10,000 cells, and this is the date when it was created, and it's ready to use. Click on next. And now it will ask you the sampling method, like what is the sampling method? It could be random, or you can pick like first 100 rows or first 10 rows. So you can just pick the random, and also you can provide the sample size. It depends on your total size of your data. If your data has like million records, it's good to have like a larger sample size, so that when you train the model, your model will have like a more kind of data to train on versus just a little bit of data. But at the same time, you have to figure out what's the right amount for the sampling. And this sampling in this case is also used by Data Wrangler for checking the accuracy of the data and validating the data. Then you click on import, and the Data Wrangler is gonna start validating the data. Like you can see here, validation complete. There are 0 errors. So this is the first step which Data Wrangler helps you with. It will validate the data, and if there are any missing values or something like that, it will just let you know, or if there is any error in the data. The next thing that you can do is click on the Get Data Insights, and you will start getting the insights right away. So I'm just going to if you click on this data quality and insights report, you will get like a very comprehensive report of this. You can also create the table summary, bias report, histogram. So these are the specific analysis type that you can do on the data. And this is the analysis name. You can just use any name or keep the default one. Let's call it demo housing data. And then you can pick the target column. So I want to pick the target column is the household price, and this is the median house value. I'm going to pick this as the target column. Now is the problem type regression or classification. You can leave this as is as well, because based on the data, the Data Wrangler is smart enough to pick up the problem type. Or you can also specify, because in this case it's more of a regression problem. And the data size for this report, do you want to run the report only on the sample data or on the full data? Based on that, you can select the option. So I'm just going to use the sample data and click on create. Now this is going to generate a very comprehensive report. So it tells you about the data set stats, which is like the number of features, the rows, missing values. And remember, this is only on the sample data, not on the entire data. You can see the 99.9% validity, 0 duplicate rows. There are no high severity warnings. And there are like the charts are also being created for you. So it provides you pretty comprehensive report for your data. This is really helpful to understand the data and the correlation between the columns. Now that is one quick way to analyze the data and understand what the data is all about, and see if there is any issue you might find, or how the data the various columns are related to each other. The other thing that you can do is, you can do many things, but one the powerful thing is the adding the transformation. Now, when you click on this, there are multiple steps. You click on Add Transform Step here, and it will give you, a lot of options here, like the handle missing values. So if there is any missing value, what do you want to do with that? You want to drop that, or you want to, fill that with a specific value, a fixed value, or you can fill that with the mean or the median value. And then you have a custom formula to create a new column based on some SQL statements. So the SQL statements will go into your formula, and based on that, it will create a new column. Similarly, you have custom transformations using PySpark or Pandas. So there is a lot of other transformation steps, like the filtering or drop rows, feature text, formatting the string, handle missing, we already talked about, handling outliers. So there are like a lot of transformations that you can add based on your requirements here. The other cool feature which I'm going to talk about is you can start, you know, exploring the data using natural language. That is what Gen AI comes into the picture. So you can select on this option, which is called Chat for Data Prep. So when you click on Chat for Data Prep, it will use Amazon Bedrock, and specifically it uses a Claude Foundation model. So you need to have access to the Bedrock's Claude model. If you see that error that says that there is no access to Bedrock or the Claude model, then what you need to do is go to the Bedrock service. And from here, you have to request for the model access. So click on model access. And this is the one, Anthropic Claude. So the Claude is the one which is used by Data Wrangler. If you don't have access to this model, you just have to request the access, and that will be instantly granted to you most of the times. And now you can see that it is smart enough to, understand, whatever the different columns of my data set are. And it has also generated some pre-populated questions that you can ask right away based on your real data. So if you ask, what is the average value of the column population? So you can just, select this and ask the question. And here you get the response. And the response is a real time based on your real data. The average value of the population column is this. So this is super helpful if you don't, if you're feeling that, okay, there's a tons of data, tons of metrics, and you are lost in all these graphs and the reports and other, data analysis stuff, then you can just start asking your questions in natural language. And that will help you to understand the data in a better way and in a quick way. So this is a pretty cool feature, obviously powered by Gen AI, specifically Bedrock. And then you can also combine the data, adding some join conditions. And once you are okay with your data and you have, let's say, done the transformation, the next step that you can do is you can either export the data, let's say to S3 or somewhere else, or you can also create the model out of this, which is basically export the data and start model building. So if you click on create the model, and you can give any data set name here and process the entire data set, the model name, problem is the predictive analysis, and then the target column is median house value. And you can just click on export and create model, and that's it. So the canvas is gonna start building a model based on your data and the problem that you have specified. And here you go. So it's gonna predict the median house value based on the data that you have, and the model type is this. So it has selected a numeric prediction model, which is auto selector, so you don't have to do anything about that. But yeah, I mean, you have to test your model and see you're getting the the accurate results. If you feel that something is off, then you can configure your model. Now remember, when you're configuring the model, you need to have like a better sense of what you're doing, and specifically you need to have more experience with machine learning models. It is good to get started with this. It may not be perfect, but it will get you started with your machine learning journey, right? So it's super helpful. And you can click on preview model. It's going to validate your data, and now it's generating the analysis. So based on this model that's being selected, it's going to generate analysis. If your data set is large enough, the analysis is going to take a little bit longer time. Okay, so we selected the data set, then we selected the the model, which is basically auto selector. We created the model. Now we need to build the model. So we haven't built the model yet. We created the model. This is auto selected, and we also provided the target column. Now you can click on quick build. Now this is going to take a little bit time in order to build the model. And here you go. Since our data set is not very huge, so It's gonna take around like 2-3 minutes, and then the build will be completed. Okay, so the model building has been completed, and now they just ask for some feedback that how easy or difficult was it to build a model in Canvas. So you can ignore this. So here is the model status, quick build. So these are the mean squared error, like RMSE is a measurement for the spread of your predictions. A smaller RMSE indicates that the model makes more accurate predictions. So this is kind of way off, like this is so kind of huge number, but it gives you the idea that how you can build the model in the canvas. Obviously the RMSE number is high, so it's not gonna be a more accurate prediction that you get out of this model, but you can tweak your the data set or the target column, and then you can even tweak the model selection because you can customize that. Right now we haven't done any tweaking, we're just using the default whatever is provided. And the next thing is doing the prediction. So you can do a manual prediction or automatic prediction, either in batches or a single prediction. So this is, you can just fill these details here, the whatever the column values that we have. So you can just fill all these details, and then you'll get the prediction out of that. And the final step in this is to deploy your model. So you can click on create deployment, and you have a model which is ready right now. You can give your deployment name, and here you can provide the instance which will be used for your deployed model for inference. You can pick the size of the instance, let's say t2.medium, for example. For the instance count, you can provide the number, how many instances you want to be deployed, where your machine learning model will be deployed, and you can start making inferences. In the production, it's always better to have more than one instances to provide high availability. But if you are just testing, doing some POC, you can just keep the instance count to 1 and click on deploy. So this is gonna leverage the SageMaker platform itself to deploy the model. And right now it's creating the deployment job, and this is the deployment URL. So one thing that we can look into is go to SageMaker again. And here you will see the models. This is my Canvas model here. The endpoints. So this is the endpoint which is being created right now. This will be used for the predictions or inferences, sorry. So whenever you have to use this model in your application, you will use this endpoint. This is the endpoint configuration. And let's see if there is any training jobs here. Yeah, so this is the training job. This was created when we trained the model. Now this is all fully managed by AWS. So we were just using Canvas and quickly trying to build, train, and deploy the model. Now you can use your own, like you can do a lot of customization as well, right, within Canvas, but you don't have to deal with all these like training jobs and creating endpoint configuration and everything. Canvas is gonna take care of everything for you. The other thing which is super important is that you can create multiple revisions of your model, like V1, V2, V3. It allows you to, release a new version of your model without breaking the existing flow. And if you notice that your new release is basically causing some problems, then you can easily roll back to the previous version. Like in this case, we have version V1. We can make some changes in the model, and then we can create a new version V2, and then we can start pointing our application to V2. Now you can do the blue-green canary deployments as well for machine learning models. So SageMaker Studio provides you this functionality to have a blue-green deployments for your machine learning models. You can rather also keep one endpoint And behind that endpoint, you can have multiple different models as well. So that is also supported, and that will, reduce the cost of your, the instances that you need for inferences. Like we have just seen that you need to pick the instances, one or two. Instead of picking one instance, let's say for every model, you can pick one instance, but you can still deploy multiple models, on that instance. But that is not something which you get out of Canvas. You need to do additional configuration for that. While this is still getting created, you can go to MLOps. This is where you will then automate the deployment. So right now, if you click on deployments, we just have one deployment which is currently going on, and you can set up the automation as well for the automated deployments of your machine learning models. So this is all I wanted to explain in this video. SageMaker Canvas makes machine learning accessible for everyone, regardless of technical expertise. It's a game changer for businesses looking to leverage data without needing an in-house ML team. If you found this introduction helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more AWS and data related videos and Gen AI videos. And let us know in the comments what would you like us to cover next. So thanks for watching. Cheers.